Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well on Sunday, December 20th, 2020. Christmas is coming up shortly. Got a lot of questions recently, both about the Mini 2 and the Fimi X8 SE. So what I thought I would do would be to do a comparison between the two tonight. Wanted to do it live online, and we'll see what my recommendations are. Hope everyone's doing well. Christmas is coming up shortly. It's going to be a different Christmas for a lot of people, and who knows, I may have a surprise live stream near the middle of the week to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. You never know. All right, let's get into it here. Now, you may recently remember that I did a comparison video between the Fimi X8 SE 2020 and the Mini 2 as far as the video was concerned. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share a clip from that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to get that going here. Which I thought I had up. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen so you guys can watch this here. I'm not going to play the sound because all you're going to hear is music. So let's just take a quick look at this. Okay. So we talk, I would highly encourage you to watch that video. It's hey, Ray, good to see you tonight. Fly Zone Drone, Drone Shots, and Jaybird. Thank you guys for showing up here. Okay. What I wanted to do was we're going to briefly look at the specs of each and then some of the things that I've highlighted and come to my conclusions here. And this isn't going to be very long, but I wanted to get something out there so you guys can have something to go by as far as knowing which drone of these two to buy, because I seem to get an awful lot of questions regarding, should I buy the Fimi X8 SE 2020 or the Mini 2? So let's go ahead here. Now, first of all, I'm going to take a look at, and I'm going to call it the Challenger here, and I hate to say the word Challenger, but we're going to look at the Fimi X8 SE 2020. Now, currently, it does, excuse me, Metro Jones, Bill, thank you so much. Happy holidays to you as well, my friend. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Sorry about that. All right. The Fimi X8 SE 2020 out on Banggood is $424. Okay. Now, let's take a look. And just for comparison's sake, the Mini 2 is $449. That's a difference of $20 here. Okay. That's one of the things that you need to keep in mind. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the specs of the Fimi X8 SE, and then we'll take a look at some of the specs of the Mini 2 and draw some conclusions for that. Okay, this is propaganda from the manufacturer. Okay, nothing short than that. Okay, this does have 4K, 30 frames per second video. It does have a 3-axis stabilized gimbal, which is big because a lot of the drones under $400, I'll say, don't have this feature. This does have that feature. Okay. It has, we're going to go the 3-axis gimbal. It has 8K range, and you can take a look. There's different settings that you can get in the app itself to change some of this. There's the 8 kilometers in range. Now, I have to pause here and stop. This is one of the nicer remote controllers out there. I can't tell you how much I like this. It is fantastic because the phone fits in between the two. The phone is expandable. The it's very solid. Okay, it's for those of you who don't have a Fimi or are familiar with it. It's very solid. I think it's very well put together. Fimi's done a great job with this. Now, it is fast. When you go to sport mode, it can get up to 35 miles an hour, and I was able to achieve that. Now, the runtime here with this, okay, it does have a 35. I'm sorry, that's 35 minutes in flight time. The speed is 18 meters a second, and I think that translates. I think it's roughly around 45 miles an hour. I'm not 100% sure. These are some of the smart modes, okay, if you will, and Cineshot, smart tracking, panoramas, hyperlapse, circle, rocket, droney, spiral, those kind of things that are familiar that are on DJI drones here. Okay, smart tracking modes, and we'll get to I promise to talk about this a little more. Matt Cundiff, welcome, glad to see you here, my friend. You can do a panorama with it, time-lapse photography. They have night photography here. They talk about search and rescue. It does have precision landing, okay? This is something worth, I mean, if precision landing is something that you need on a drone, this has it, the Mini doesn't. However, the Mini 2, DJI will probably upgrade the firmware to have that. But as of right now, it does not, and the Fimi X8 SE 2020 does have that, okay? They do talk about live streaming, but I've never seen it work, and I've tried the option, and it just goes absolutely nowhere as far as that's concerned. Precision positioning system, GPS plus GLONASS, multiple safety features. It does have that automatic return to home on there, and here are some of the specifications. And again, to get into the nitty gritty, we're not really going to kind of do that right now. But I'm going to go. Next, we're going to take a look at the Mini 2. Now, as you saw, it's $449. We're going to take a look at some things here. It talks about it gives you some maximum flight time is 31 minutes. The Fimi X8 SE 2020 is 35. Maximum wind speed resistance 10.5 meters per second. Okay, that translates to roughly 23 miles per hour. All right. Now with the Fimi, we'll take a look at that here in a minute. It has GPS plus GLONASS plus, it's called Galileo, the gimbal range, sensing system, the camera. Now understand that this is in and of itself more than, I would call this a better camera than what's on the Fimi. Again, this is not meant to be a total in-depth review of either the Fimi or the Mini 2, but I want to give people who are looking to try to buy either one of these a guide to go by here. Okay, but I would say the camera on this is definitely the more robust camera with more features on it. Operating temperature, battery capacity, the charger, the battery on here. It does have DJI Flies the app, and a required operating system is iOS 10.0 or Android 6.0 or later. It talks about the supported SD cards. And for you guys that want to know this is all information is always available on DJI's website. You just have to do some digging and looking, but this is a good spot and a good thing to note here for you guys. Some of these footnotes are probably also worth noting as well too. Okay. Now, we've seen these things here. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. The Mini 2, it's $449. You do get 4K, 30 frames per second as far as the video, and you've seen an example of that here. It does have OcuSync 2.0. Guys, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, really, you have zero problems with it. I mean, I fly over the end of the lake where the Fimi has problems with it, and there's no problems there with a Mini whatsoever. None. Okay. 10-kilometer video 720 video transmission, which is incredible. 31 minutes of flight time, which is fantastic for a drone that size with that kind of battery. And this is a huge advantage, not so much in the United States, but in other countries. It weighs less than 249 grams, considerably less. I'm not sure what the exact weight is, but understand, for example, in Canada, and I know Florin was around, he could explain this better. You know, not only do you have to register it, but I think you have to get what they call a certificate or something like that. And again, I'm not 100% sure on that. Those of you who are up in Canada probably know more about that. It has a level 5 wind resistance, which, like I said, it translates to up to 23 miles per hour. Now, conversely, we'll take a look at, and what I think the biggest issue is wind stability, because a lot of times that level 5 wind resistance, you know, while it's good, it's what I would call moderate winds up to 23 miles an hour. It can handle it. If it's more than that, you need to look at another drone. Now let's take a look at the Fimi here. Okay. Now, as we saw, the price is $424 USD. It does have 4K 30 frames per second video, and we've seen a comparison between the two. It does have an 8-kilometer range, and it's called TDMA video transmission. You know, it's their jargon, and you know, that's what they're talking. It does have a 35-minute flight time, and it does have a wind resistance up to 31 miles per hour. So that's 8 mile an hour. That is 8 mile an hour more than the Mini 2. Now, conversely, let's also look here at the biggest issues. These two are well documented and well known. Horizon tilt. That has been a carryover from the original Fimi X8 SE, the 2018 version. For me, I have not experienced that after the latest firmware update. It is gone. I mean, I would say the last 2 firmware updates, it's been gone. I've been very fortunate with that. However, okay, I think the biggest issue on this is the signal interference. The signal interference, every time I go to that end of the lake, it doesn't matter if I'm at 100 feet, it doesn't matter if I'm at 400 feet, I get that return to home kicks in, okay? And I get a loss of signal, and I can see on the screen, and you've probably watched my videos where I've gotten that loss of signal with the Fimi X8 SE 2020. So, you know, that's a real kicker, folks. You know, I can fly it down this end of the lake without any issues. However, even going on the back end of the lake, it happened to me. I thought, you know, I did a test with it, and you've probably seen the video where I'm going along the back edge of the lake and not in the middle, and it still hits there. So there is something there that is interfering with that. So what kind of conclusions do I draw from all of this? Again, you know, I didn't mean for this. This isn't an in-depth. We're not looking at CMOS and the sensor size, and you know, they both have 3-axis gimbals. Okay, I'm trying to put it at a level where a lot of people who are looking at either one of these drones, especially those who are new to the hobby, can understand this. Johnny Drone Flyer, welcome. Thanks for showing up tonight. I wanted to give something for everybody to be able to easily discern and look between these two to be able to make a decision. Okay. Now let's look at, you know, and here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Before I give you my recommendation here. Okay. Now the price, there's a $20 difference between price. Okay. That's a good thing. And it probably makes your decision a little bit harder here. All right. 4K 30, they both have 40K 30 frames per second. They both are pretty much on par with, you know, the battery life, 31 minutes in one, 35 minutes in the other one. You know, the range is pretty similar. The Mini 2 has about a 10-kilometer. The Fimi X8 has an 8-kilometer range. The weight, there's no question who wins that. The Mini 2, it's less than 249 grams, and in Canada and a lot of countries, that is a big deal. So it does mean a lot here. Now, one of the problem areas for the Mini 2, I would say the problem area for the Mini 2 is its wind resistance. If it's more than 23 miles an hour, you have to look at another drone. Okay, if you live in an area, in a coastal area where there's a lot of winds, you have to look at another drone. And so, you know, if that were the case, and here's my recommendation. Okay, now let's take a look here. again, the Fimi, it does have the 4K. It does have 35 minutes of flight time. It does have a wind resistance of up to 31 miles an hour. Those are the pluses, okay? Now, the pain point is some people have still experienced the horizon tilt issue. For me, it's the signal interference, okay? And that's a hardware type of issue. That's not a software type of issue. So I'm hoping that Fimi, when they come out with a new version of the Fimi X8 SE 2020, maybe 2021 or 2022, that it will incorporate some type of shielding around that to prevent that signal interference, because you're in a nice flight and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're seeing that fail-safe feature, which is good. It shows that software worked. You're seeing that fail-safe feature engage and it's coming back home here. So final recommendations are this, okay? If you live in an area where you experience less than 23 miles an hour in wind most of the time, okay, maybe occasionally goes over that, it's a clear-cut choice. The Mini 2 is your drone, okay? If you experience if you experience winds that are greater than 23 miles an hour between these two, the Fimi is your choice, all right? What else I can say about this is this, okay? Understand that when you get the Fimi, there are these two inherent issues. The horizon tilt issue, which seems to have been taken care of by the soft firmware updates, finally, after going through both iterations. And you also have the killer issue of the loss of transmission. And I mean, it just, you just immediately, when that happens, you return to home. You don't hesitate, okay? You just do it. And so that's where it's at, okay? Overall, between the two drones, comparing apples to apples, okay, the Mini 2 is going to win, because the Mini 2, in my opinion, has a better camera than the Fimi X8 SE 2020, all right? And also, too, DJI has a tried and true platform. The DJI Fly app is a great app. It could be tweaked a little bit, I think, but it is a great app. Although Fimi does have a very good app. Their Navi app is very good for the Fimi. So that's my recommendations for you. If anyone has any questions about that, feel free to email me at buildadronereviewer@gmail.com. Again, I wanted to make this short and sweet and succinct so people can have an idea of what to do. Michael, welcome. Infused Gaming. Zomi has suffered the loss of transmission issues since the Zomi Me. Okay, yeah, that seems to be a real problem with them. Just kind of looking through the chat here. Yeah, Zomi, yeah, Infused Gaming, yeah, they kind of do, but hopefully, this is meant as a high level here. And if you have any in-depth questions regarding either one of these drones, please email me at buildadronereviewer@gmail.com. If you don't see me or hear from me the rest of this week, you probably will. I'll probably be on to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I'll probably drag my better half in so you get to see her beautiful face instead of my ugly mug, and she can join in as well. But want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year. Hope everyone is staying safe and following what you need to do where you live. And remember, as always, it's a great day to fly. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this impromptu broadcast tonight. Take care.